Would you agree with the assessment that the game was stolen by the Warriors last night?
Absolutely. No doubt about it. Portland, that's a game that ultimately will probably cost them this series. And I say that because, like after game one, everyone was wanting to write them out because, they got handled. But that, you're going to get in a 7-game series, typically, even if it's an evenly matched series, one game you're typically going to get it handed to you. And I really believe that Portland will probably hand it to Golden State in the game in this series. But it's those 50-50 games, especially on the road where you were the better team and you lose. Those are hard to make up, especially against the 2-time defending champs, especially when you think that potentially Kevin Durant is looming and he will at some point maybe make an appearance in this series. You've got to take advantage of those opportunities. And quite frankly, Portland did not. They just kind of caved there down the stretch, did not execute well, did not make the plays, and conversely, that the world champs did.
How does that happen? Walk me through how a team that's up 15 and then up 8, and as you point out, they know they've got to get one in Oakland. They know they have to, and they had their best opportunity. No Durant, multiple possession leads, multiple times. I mean, how does something like that happen when you're involved in it, Greg?
Well, listen, I've been a part of it on both ends. It happens in part because Golden State's will was stronger. They were tougher mentally. And even though Portland didn't necessarily always make a play offensively, Golden State had to make plays down the stretch. They still had to come up with big shots and big effort plays. Even the last play with Iguodala against Lillard, that was a hell of a defensive play by Iguodala. It's a 15-point lead at halftime in today's game, especially against Golden State, is not a big lead. That's not insurmountable. That's not really a big deal. I do think, though, that the pressure of the moment sometimes, not so much for Dame and CJ, but for that supporting cast, they don't have a lot of guys that are as comfortable in those big moments as does Golden State. And then for the guys for Golden State who may not be as comfortable, they get comfort because of who they play with. They're playing with Steph Curry. They're playing with the Finals MVP and Andre Iguodala. They're playing with a Klay Thompson, a Draymond Green, and I'm not even mentioning Kevin Durant. So that gives you a little bit of confidence in those situations. And I just think that's ultimately the difference. Listen, Golden State without Kevin Durant, this is the core team that still won 73 games a few years ago, and had to lose a 3-1 lead in the finals to lose the championship. So they're more than capable of, in essence, beating anybody on any given night. It's just that, if you're Portland, you get 41 points off your bench. Your stars were solid. You didn't turn it over that much overall, 13 times for the game. You got handled on the backboard a little bit. That was a difference maker. But that's a game where you feel like you got to win. When you look at the stats, if I just showed you the stats blindly, you would say, oh, that team, Portland probably wins that game. And for them to not win it, it can be demoralizing. It's hard for you to get back up emotionally when you gave that game away, that 50-50 game that you controlled, that you had, and now you look up and you're down 0-2.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.